It's the first time that we have an event officially organized by OutSystems together with MVPs and together with the community. So we're very proud of it, and yeah, we want to welcome everyone to our first session. Also, I would like to take the moment to highlight that the page is created in Frankfurt, purely for the reason that OutSystems is located in Frankfurt. But as you see, it's an online event, so just share with your friends, share with people that might be interested around the country, because, well, being online has a good advantages that everyone can join, and there is no travel distance. So please reach out and expand our community. And well, my name is Rúben. I'm one of the MVPs. João is also in this event today, also one of the MVPs. And today we are going to talk about the Experience Builder. So that will be presented by Silvia Rocha, Head of Extended Product Engineering, and Hélio Cardoso, the Experience Builder Project Manager from OutSystems. Thank you both for making time on your evening and being willing to share insights with the community. It's very well appreciated. And then we have an open session of Ask Me Anything with João and with myself. A disclaimer: anything doesn't mean anything. I'm an open person, but depends how far we go. But I mean, guys, make use of the time. I want to ask everyone to mute your microphone so that Silvia and Hélio have their nice moments to present, and everyone can listen and hear properly. And please, if you have questions, place them on the chat. What will happen at the end is we'll read the chat and we'll use the open questions and answers as well to answer your questions. They can be directed to the presentation, or any other questions. We'll then see who will take it. So I'm not going to take longer than this. Silvia and Hélio, I mean, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Rúben. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here at the very first users group meetup in Germany. Kudos to you guys for putting up this community up in the air and running, and for being here today. So thank you. It's always great to have the opportunity to share how we feel about the work that we're doing, and it's super important also to get your feedback on it, okay? So Hélio and I will be talking to you about Experience Builder, as Rúben already explained to everyone. I will do a very brief presentation, about 20 minutes or so, to do a deep dive into this new feature directly in the tool itself, okay? Let me share my screen now. And please let me know. Sorry, I have to introduce my password again. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, yes. We can.
Yeah. Cool. All right. As I'm sure you all know, what is OutSystems? OutSystems is a product company, and our product is a low-code application platform, right? In the last 5 years, OutSystems has been clearly doing the road to become a very distinguished and clear market leader in the low-code application development platform space. But it's always interesting to think that when we started down this road almost 20 years ago, there wasn't even a name for what we were trying to do. So basically, OutSystems, from its very origin, was an extremely innovative company with a vision really far out in time. What is happening in the world today? I don't know if you guys know Mark Andreessen. He's one of the major Silicon Valley tycoons, and very recently he commented, and it became a very popular sentence, about how software is eating the world. Eating how? Eating in the sense that every business out there needs to have something digital to connect with its employees, with its partners, with its end users, customers, and all of that. So software is really spreading into all areas of life, into all life sciences, really. Gartner and Forrester, top 2 analyst firms, they say that low code is actually fueling the appetite for software, okay? Probably this is not new to you guys, but what it is indeed probably new to some of you is how the expectation of the market share that low-code application development platforms is meant to grow in the next couple of years. Gartner and Forrester have communicated an expectation of growth in this market of almost 50%, which is extreme. Why do you think that's the case? Why are low-code application development platforms seeming to be on the rise? Anyone would like to share a thought on this? Going once, going twice. Okay, let me continue then. I'm going to answer that in just a slide. Okay. Why is this happening? Why is software eating the world? Basically, digital is the true differentiator in any business, in any industry these days. Technology has been absolutely disrupting every single industry. You see here below the logos of companies that have initiated activity very, very recently in spaces and industries that were centuries old, some of them, like banking, centuries, you know what I mean, right? Like banking, like insurance, transportation, and all these companies became industry leaders almost seems like overnight. And the reason why they were able to capture an industry by storm, take it by storm so fast without actually having all the knowledge, the year-long knowledge of operating in that industry is because they absolutely reinvented the processes, the ways of working, but more than anything, the experience that they offer the customers. Okay, so digital, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and it's actually the new normal. And everybody here probably already knows that. We looked into all these types of companies that have installed themselves as industry leaders overnight, and what do they have in common? First of all, and foremost, probably, they offer customer experiences that are absolutely delightful for everybody. Basically, a process is like a 10th bank. In a normal bank, you have a tremendous amount of forms to fill in. You need to go to an actual bank location. You need to go physically there. There's approvals and all of that. In something like Revolut, you can totally do that online and very, very quickly. Okay, so basically, customers say, whoa, what is this? This is a whole new world to me. And I'm really delighted about that. But not just the fact that the processes are a lot more streamlined, but also the fact that the connection about the experience that customers, end users have with those organizations are multi-channel. That means that I can interact with my bank in my mobile app, in my website when I'm home. I can go to the over the counter to talk with someone if I really need to. And everything that happens in each of these channels, it's intertwined, interconnected, and everything is fluid and really works well, okay? The second aspect has to do with agility. So these newly installed industry leaders, they are extremely capable of creating and evolving applications at the pace that their business really demands. While the ones that were already here for 100 years, they have to deal with a number of issues that make them become very, very slow at evolving their software assets, thus innovating, okay? This takes me to the third point, which is totally connected with the agility piece. It has to do with the technology that a given organization has and uses to run their business and to interact with their customers. These new companies that have taken industries by storm, they had zero technical debt. So they started from scratch. They've used the latest and greatest technology stacks, and they've built amazing systems that they can really operate with in minutes, basically. So this technical debt, this inexistence of technical debt, and the fact that they are pretty much all based in cloud native architectures makes them super, super nimble and really, really fast to operate and to have everlasting agility in their own operation, right? This makes sense to you, right? What I'm saying? Okay. Lastly, all these leaders, because they are so interesting, there's a lot of hype in the world regarding these companies, and because they work with the latest and greatest technology stack, they are able to attract and retain the top talent, the top IT talent that we have available in the market. Everybody wants to go and work for Revolut. Everybody wants to go and work for Tesla, right? So, and no one wants to go and work for the 50 or 100-year-old insurance company that has a lot of legacy. The processes are really old, and the culture, the innovation culture, isn't really there. So incumbents, the organizations that were already here for a very long time, and they thought nothing would ever threaten their position in their market, in their industries, they are totally seeing a very different ballgame here, and they're really struggling with catching up. Does this make sense to you guys? Let me try to see if I can get some nods so that I can feel the pulse that you're still with me. Does this make sense to you so far?
It does. It does indeed.
Okay. Thank you for not leaving.
Why is it confidential?
It's basically the slide deck template, but thanks for asking anyway. Didn't you all sign an NDA to be in this meetup?
We're OutSystems, so.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
50-page contract.
So you already did. Okay. Okay, guys. So after this setting the stage that I've been doing here, what is OutSystems' mission? How do we see OutSystems delivering value to the world these days? We want to make sure that every company out there that is executing an enterprise-grade adoption of OutSystems is able to catch up to its competition and operate as a native cloud software company, okay? So basically, we aim to address and to gift these 4 capabilities that you see here to all of our customers, okay? And how is that looking so far? So almost 20 years of operation, as I told you in the very beginning. And this is the map of the world where you can see the amount of the community that Germany is now joining. We have approximately 300,000 community members, which, by the way, was an 89% year-on-year growth as from last year. So we've been at this for a long time already, but it's really gaining traction, and the company is really in hyper growth mode, as you can see here. And we have about 48 user groups. Andrea and Katerina, please correct me if I'm wrong. Almost 10,000 certified professionals throughout the world for all our customers to be able to go to and have their projects delivered in an excellent way. And we have approximately almost 15,000 certifications also that have already been delivered to this amazing and beautiful community. It's very, very important to tell you that without the strength of our community from which you are a part of, we would never, ever be able to deliver the impact that we are currently delivering the world. So it's all thanks to you guys, and thank you for that. Okay, so what has this community been doing? What have you guys all been up to? Basically, we monitor a lot of data at OutSystems, as you can imagine. We are a data obsessed, saying that we're data driven is not saying it right. We're actually data addicted people, and we look into a very big number of variables. But one variable which is very, very important to us is not if customers are signing contracts. or if partners are even delivering projects as well. The most important aspect to us is how many applications, solutions are being built with our platform, and out of those, how many do they actually reach production? Because someone can actually just, you know, doing some experiments or really not adopting what they're building with OutSystems. So the real proof of the value that we're delivering is to do with a number of OutSystems applications that are going live every single day. And as you can see here, we're performing very, very well in that sense as well. And again, the curve seems to become steeper as of last year from now as well. We also pay a very close attention to our developer community, from where you're from precisely, and we constantly approach you guys with not only with these meetups, but with surveys, with interviews and all of that, because we want continuously, as I said in the beginning, your feedback is gold for us, and we really need it to make sure that what we're doing makes sense and it is easy to operate and you can extract the value that you're supposed to. And I don't know if you guys know the Net Promoter Score metric. It's an industry metric. Basically, it measures how many detractors or passive people or promoters there are to a certain service, technology, product, whatever. And our developer NPS has a score of 52. For those of you who don't know NPS, anything above 50 is excellent, as it's an excellent mark. So we know there's a lot of ground to cover to continue to improve what we're doing, but we can all be very proud and happy about where we got up until now. That's the big message here. And more than me saying something like that, I want to share this small video with you. Can you guys hear the sound? Oh, damn.
But
when I click,
we can read.
Yeah,
oh, there's subtitles, yes. But when I shared my screen, I clicked on the option to send my audio to you. I don't know why that's not working.
Well,
but then, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I actually clicked the option to send the computer audio through Zoom.
Oh.
There's such an option. Yeah. Okay, but fortunately there's subtitles. So you have here people from the users groups, from the development community, from all over all corners of the world, actually stating their mind as to what has been their experience using our OutSystems platform and how has that had an impact on their own lives.
I know this guy.
E alguns são difíceis de fazer. Nem vou fazer todos. Mas eu tenho que verificar que tenho todos.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you to these testimonies. Maybe some of you were already at the video. If not, maybe next year, in next year's edition, you may be. We are well aware that we have a lot of, as I was saying, we have a lot of ground to cover to make our platform even more supportive of a bigger number of use cases and to make it your lives even easier. So this year we've ran a survey, perhaps some of you received them, and we asked you, where do you spend the most time when you were working with OutSystems? So what is taking the longest, biggest toll in your day-to-day when trying to develop applications with our platform? And these were the top results that we received from that feedback. And it's pretty remarkable to see that the front end and screen design work is actually the #1 reason that is taking the longest for everybody worldwide to be able to develop applications with OutSystems. And as you can remember, probably might remember, when I showed you the 4 traits of those new industry leaders that have arisen in the last couple of years, the ability to build amazing customer experiences is the first ability that is the common trait of them all. So basically, it became clear to us, super clear, that we needed to do a lot more than we were already helping you with all the existing features. So why is building amazing experiences so important? We've looked into the industry, and once again, we try to understand what's happening, what is going on. More than 50% of the firms, either business to consumer or business to business, they feel that they are becoming lagging. They are very lagging their customer experience transformation. So it's obvious that these guys are the incumbents, the ones that were already installed in the industry, and they are aware that they need to improve and to reinvent the experiences, the way they interact with employees, with their partners, with their customers and users. But they feel that they are not being able to do that fast enough. And why is that the case? Basically, it's very, very difficult to be able to do this at the speed that the business would intend, of course. The scarcity of talent, of people with available skills, with the right skill set to actually produce and to reinvent these experiences, these applications, it's very hard to come by because there's a huge talent scarcity. And remember, everybody wants to work with the top companies, okay? And obviously doing customer experience by itself is something which is hard to do. It requires a lot of research. It requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of profiles. It's not just about developers at all. It does not begin with developers to begin with, right? So this is something which is hard to do. And the vast majority of people out there are not being able to reinvent this in a good time to market. So is OutSystems solving this problem good enough for everybody here? Talking with customers and partners, they essentially report 2 big pains. Being able to make pixel perfect applications with the most beautiful UI that you would ever seen, and being able to have a native mobile user experience. So being able to create an app that actually feels native, as if it was built in the traditional technologies. Why is this the case? We still require a huge skill set on CSS and JavaScript to be able to fine-tune the mobile apps to be pixel perfect and native mobile. And that takes a lot of effort by a skilled developer. If you have one, a skilled developer would still take a considerable amount of time. And doing this for mobile is the toughest challenge. And it has a huge demand. So that took us to Experience Builder, which is the reason why
people want to hear about the Experience Builder. They're talking on chat about speeding up to the Experience Builder.
Oh, thank you very much for that, guys. Okay, let's go then. So what is the Experience Builder vision? We want to empower developers to accelerate the development of pixel perfect B2C mobile applications with a great user experience out of the box. How are we going to do this? Remember the survey results. Experience Builder is going to contribute to these 3 problems that are highlighted here, not just the front end and screen design topic, also the requirements gathering, requirements engineering part, and the application architecture as well. Let me explain to you why very briefly. Experience Builder is going to allow users to start from where it matters. So basically, that's a cockpit armed with a lot of templates for you to assemble the user experience of your app through a number of assets that are already available there. And what that gives you is the ability to very quickly put up a prototype of your mobile application that you can quickly iterate with your business, shortening the ideation cycle, okay? The UX UI that is built in with Experience Builder is state of the art. We have put a tremendous amount of hours in doing research, in understanding what are the most important use cases for the top application types in the main industries. And the pixel perfect design that we have there is already embedded with all the native behaviors that everybody just cannot live without anymore. Code and architecture, basically, with Experience Builder, you can set up a prototype of your mobile application, right? And when you look at the code that was generated, is as beautiful as the screens that you're showing to your end users, okay? All the best practices are built in. The architecture is the right one, prepared to scale your mobile app and not have big issues going forward. With this, we're giving more speed, better customer experience, we're increasing the language of the OutSystems platform, and we're reducing the required skill set and the talent, the development time, and the complexity for you to actually tune those pixel perfect features that everybody just craves for. What's in it right now for you that Hélio is going to show you in one slide? We are addressing already the use cases of mobile banking, customer insurance, and also common use cases that are required across a number of industries. And very recently, we have also released the product catalog use case. What's in those use cases, what you can find here. There's dashboards already built in, cards management for mobile, it's essential. All the screens that are, all the flows, the screen flows that are normally part of a mobile application for banking are also there. And as you can see, it's the same. What are we working right now? We're actually looking into healthcare, looking into patient healthcare. So the medical profile, the ability to book and manage applications, all those use cases within that application type. And that's it. So I'm going to hand this over to Hélio. And if you guys have any questions or comments, throw them at me in the Q&A part. Thank you for listening in. Hélio, over to you.
Thank you, Silvia.
Thank you, Silvia.
And yeah, we're moving to Hélio.
Yeah. So I'm already thinking.
I want to hear about the details. Get the
well,
insight.
Yeah, here they are. Let's start. So thank you, Silvia, for this presentation and for this introduction, not only to what OutSystems is doing, but also what Experience Builder is aiming to solve. One thing to take that out of the way right now is that Experience Builder is not something like a component that you download from the Forge and install on your environment. Experience Builder runs as a SaaS service. It's hosted at OutSystems. And after you are registered, you can just come here to the login page. This is the production environment. You'll put your environment name here. And if this environment is registered, all IT users of your factory that have published permissions will be able to use their IT credentials. Okay, so let's log in here. So when you log in on the Experience Builder for the first time, this page will be empty for you because this is only showing the applications that are created with Experience Builder. Applications that are on your factory but were created before Experience Builder, they are not going to show up here. Okay, even applications that are initiated in Service Studio after you have Experience Builder, they are never going to be shown here. Only applications created by Experience Builder. Okay, so we'll start with the experience of creating a new application. Like Silvia was saying, right now what we are doing is we are giving you the possibility to start from a blank app. So it's a blank canvas where you can start building whatever app you want from scratch, or you can have a set of accelerators. You can have an onboarding plus login, the very basic screens to start off, a mobile banking template, an auto insurance one, or a product catalog and a checkout. Before we dive into the templates, let me start with the blank app to show you what's the initial state, the vanilla state, right? So I'm going to click blank app and then start building. The first thing that you'll notice is that we want you to take care of the branding first. So you'll have the option to set up your application name first off. You'll have the normal description. You can add an icon to your application. And when you add that icon, it's going to try to create a splash screen with that icon on it. It's going to extract the main color, put it as a background of the splash screen, and that's it. Of course, you can change the splash screen afterwards, or you can change the main color. Just this step, this looks very easy, but for those of you that know about mobile application development, creating this in OutSystems, it's still a somewhat cumbersome task. You'll need to grab these resources for the icon splash screen. You need to recreate them in a lot of resolutions and dimensions in order to publish it to the store. You need to put all that information in the extensibility configurations. You need to package those resources in your application. A lot of the things that are very, very cumbersome today. We can say that OutSystems has tried to accelerate a lot of those boresome tasks, and Experience Builder is trying to go a higher level when building mobile applications. So all of that I said about duplicating the images in different resolutions, etc., and the extensibility, all of that is done by you by just doing this. Okay, so from this moment onwards, when you publish your application, all that work is done by you. Now, for those of you again that have started to create a mobile application from scratch, there's a typical set of questions right at the beginning. First thing is, how do I start? Where should I start off? Should I start with my team? Should I start with my backend? Where should I start? The info that we get says that most of the developers, they start with the backend part, and they don't focus on the experience, on the user experience, or even the user journey right from the beginning. What that typically does is that when you are at the middle of the project, then you start getting feedback from users. And if it's already a task where we spend a lot of time creating the front end, if you have to change it afterwards, it's even worse. So what we try to do is let's give a way to make people think about the user experience first, and without having to talk about backend data or demo stuff that they need to present on the very first sprint, stuff like that, right? So let's start creating our application. So I'm going to create an application. Typically, I will want a login flow here. Actually, typically I have an onboarding first, right? So I'm going to choose an onboarding here for my application. Here it is. Okay, good. It has an empty state here so that you can put any image that you might want to illustrate what features you want to tell your users how to use them, of course. Now let's pick up the login here. I'm going to choose a simple login for this purpose. Okay, I have my onboarding, I have my login, but what's this blue circles over here? So basically what are here are the touch points. So in these screens, whatever is clickable by the user to navigate to a different flow, a different screen, is represented by these blue circles. So if I click one of these blue circles, it's going to tell me or ask me if I want to connect to an existing flow. And if I click it, you can see that it only shows login because it's the flow that I have on my canvas right now. Or you can choose connect to a new flow, and it's going to pop up again that model with all the flows available. Aside from clicking, you also have another way of doing it. That's just dragging and dropping from one touch point to the actual screen. So now when you click next on the onboarding, when it finishes, of course, you'll be redirected to the login flow. This is the bread and butter of Experience Builder. So all of these screens, they already have embedded logic. The username and password, at least on this example, it's linked with your user provider from your factory. You have other types of login here. So you can choose to have login with the passcodes, and we're in production, but I can already tell you that we are going to release social logins also, so Facebook, Google, etc. So you can just replace the simple login with one of those, and all the logic, all the plugins will already be done and working for you. Okay, so let's add just a dashboard here. So I'm going to pick a banking dashboard. I'm going to link it with when the user logs in, it goes to the dashboard. I can see that I have my accounts here. I have my cards. I have the latest transfers. And I'm not going to bore you with all these examples. So I'm going to push one of our most complex ones. That is the cards. So here I'm going to link it from the cards of an account to this. And if you noticed, as soon as I linked these two screens, the cards flow, it has a back button, and it automatically reverted back to the dashboard. Of course, you can change it, you can move it to whatever you want, but we're trying to accelerate this step whenever you do it. So all this flow for managing cards, it's completely self-contained. You have a carousel for all your cards. Every card has its options. Whenever you have sensitive information, you'll have to confirm your identity. You have the list of latest transfers. You'll be able to set up the spending limit of any card, or even do some security togglings over here. Now let me show you one other neat flow also here. That is the sign up. The sign up introduces yet another set of functionalities. So here is where, even if, imagine that you don't have the user on your user provider, right? He's creating his account. So you'll be able to provide you his personal details, set up a password, but also interesting enough this already has biometrics embedded with. So it will, on the generated app, of course, it will recognize what device are you using and what is the default biometrics that you are using on that device. If it's Touch ID, it's going to enable Touch ID for any place where you need to authenticate. If it's Face ID, it's going to enable Face ID. Okay. If you don't have any of those biometrics authentication methods, it will revert to the passcode. Again, like I said, all of this is already done. It's only a matter of composing your user journey, linking the touch points, and everything that you see is going to be available on Service Studio as soon as you hit publish. Okay, let me show you a different functionality, that is the menu. So here we're talking about the flows and the user journey throughout your application. Now the menu is what's going to allow you to define what is the menu type of your application. You can either have a bottom menu or a side menu. You'll be able to set up your icon for the menu item. You're going to be able to set the label and also define the destination link of that menu item. So you can do this to a max of 5 elements. As you probably know from a UX perspective, more than 5 items are not advisable. You can alternate between bottom and side menu. There's no worries. You have a limitation of 5 menu items here, but on the side menu, of course, that limitation doesn't exist. So you can have more. And again, what will happen is that your generated application will have your defined menu in every screen afterwards. So far, so good, guys?
Yeah, clear indeed.
I have 2 questions online, but maybe we can do those at the end.
Yes, the questions will be taken during the question and answer at the end. So that's
Okay. Just making sure that everyone was awake. Okay, let me also show you here now Service Studio. Okay, so I'm not going to publish because it takes around 4 minutes to do it. And you know what happens when you typically want to do a live demo, something always goes wrong. So I don't want to do that. I'm showing you an application that was generated by Experience Builder right now. And let's look at some things, right? So the application that is created, it always has 3 modules. One for the resources, one for the team architecture, and the front-end module. The resources team, if you remember, I'm talking about the extensibility configurations. You can see here all the images in those different resolutions and densities already created in the extensibility, both for the icon and for the splash screen. So like I said, this typically is a very cumbersome task. You also have stuff like defining the default orientation for the device. This is something that is mandatory when submitting to the store. We also have the target device, another item that is mandatory. And right in this case, I don't have the social logins, but in the case of social logins, all the managing of the tokens will also be here, and they will also appear here automatically. So again, everything to make sure that you have the less work possible. Let's look at the front-end module. Let me show you a little bit about the team. So basically all the theme of this applications, everything that is CSS related, it's all based on OutSystems UI. So it's our base theme, let's call it like that. On top of it, you have a specific theme for Experience Builder. So it's creating a little more CSS variables than OutSystems provides today. It's doing everything that is related with all patterns. It's common to all patterns that appear on Experience Builder. Not going to bore you with the details, but you can see here the list of patterns. Now, you saw in the beginning that you could choose mobile banking, auto insurance, product catalogs, all those application types, they also have a specific theme. What this allows me is you can mix and match different flows from different application types, and we will merge the specific CSS for those app types into a single one called app types, okay? On top of it, each flow can also have its own CSS overlays. And at the end, since we are using also CSS variables, the actual theme of the application, it only has the root to set CSS variables and some info on splash screen, logo, and loading. So we are following this CSS architecture, this theme architecture, to be able to to be able to allow you to mix and match everything, and stuff will still work. Okay. Let's look a little bit at the sign up. That's a typical question that we get. So this is the sign up flow, sign up details, password, passcode, biometrics, and success. The sign up biometrics screen, you can check here that in every action in every server action, on every action that we need the server, we are always checking if there is network connection there so that the application doesn't just blows up in your hands. Like I said, also the plugins for biometrics are completely configured. You don't need to do anything here for them to work. One of the things that we invested a lot more time was on native behaviors, because it's something that OutSystems UI is not providing out of the box. So all our drop downs are native selects. The keyboard content adjusts to the type of input, either it's text, numeric, phone, or email. The keyboard viewport adjusts so that it never overlaps the field where you are inputting the information. We are using the native date and time pickers, native dialogues, a native splash, an icon, because that's exactly what we are doing with that extensibility part. Also, if you know that on a typical mobile app built with OutSystems, you normally see a splash screen with the OutSystems logo, then the background color and the background color chosen as the primary color. Then you see like a white screen flickering, and only then you see your splash screen. So with Experience Builder, we eliminated that white screen flickering that gave a very non-native feeling. All the plugins that we are embedding, we have location plugins, PDF preview, in-app browser, biometrics, camera, speech recognition when we're talking about search entry fields, key store, file transfer, everything already configured and as a working example for you to see. All the plugins have fallbacks. Like I said at the beginning, if you don't have biometrics, it's going to passcode. If you don't have a passcode defined, then it reverts to passwords. So everything is already done here also. This is the plugins that I was saying. Okay. Let me show you one last thing, and then we can move to Q&A. This is just a small video of an application that was created with Experience Builder. This is our auto insurance template. I can leave you with the video and we can start the Q&A right away if you want. But here you can see how it flows, how it's working with the plugins. You just saw the PDF preview over there. This is the information on the policy. Of course, it's an auto, but we also have for health and for home. The premiums, the native call to phone, a timeline with the light box there on the image.
So Hélio, this is generating low code in the end, right?
This is based on the auto insurance template. It's just like load the template, hit publish, and that's it.
Right, but the end result will be low code that you could in the end fine-tuned in low code, right? Or take it further.
Wait a little bit.
So the applications, they are generated with sample data, right? So there is no, we are not creating any data model over there. To be able to put this application into production, you'll always have to add your own data and most probably some business logic between screens, not related with navigation, but with business rules.
Yeah, but the answer is yes. So in the end, the output is an OutSystems application. That's why I was also, that was a discussion in the chat, right? It is an OutSystems application. It can be developed further like any other.
Sorry to interrupt, but let's just wait and then we will go through the questions at the end. I think that's the best way.
Yeah. I can take the video right away and we can.
Okay, so I want to thank Silvia and Hélio for the presentation. Also, I want to give explain to the community that the speakers that have been invited and the speakers that will be invited to the future meetups in the German community or any community, they volunteer their time and efforts to actually come and present and share their insights. And I would like to see for the future that two things should rule in our community. One is when a speaker is presenting, it should not be interrupted, neither be rushed, because these presentations take time to prepare, and it's fair to give and be waiting for the time to make questions. And the community is always open to answer the questions, but there is a way of doing it. And we ask in the beginning, please place your questions in the chat and we'll go through them. And also I ask everyone to be understanding that not everyone in the community has the same experience. Some of you have more experience, some of you are a little bit more new. And I think it's important for a new group in Germany to have some history and to understand the reason why the company is going in certain directions. So I really hope that for the next time we can be a little bit more respectful to the speakers. And that being said, we can then go to the questions and answers. I'm scrolling through the chat and let's see. So I think one of the questions is from Daniel Kuhlman and is about, is the experience builder only for mobile apps or also for reactive and web apps? So I'll leave this one with Silvia or Hélio, one of you.
I'll answer. Right now, Experience Builder is only for mobile applications. We don't have any immediate plans to do it for web applications, at least until general availability.
Thanks. And another question we have is about, is there a public go live date already?
Hey. Yeah, hi Karina, didn't see you there. Yes, we have the go live date will be in August. The exact day is not yet defined, but it will be in August of this year, of course.
Thank you. And we have one question from Martin, but I think was more discussion in the chat. Was about the experience builder being a help of being actually a good UX setup or not. Silvia, do you want to highlight the reasons why OutSystems has been focusing so much in enabling the developers to have a good setup, to start from scratch?
Yeah, so thank you, Rúben. Basically, a lot of the things that people do, frequently the reports was that they always need to start from scratch, that we should be offering more accelerators and more template kind of items for you guys. And that's actually something that we see competition do very, very well, and that we feel we're a little bit behind. That is why Experience Builder is armed with such an amazing library of flows that are thought of, that are researched within each of the industries that they are meant to be delivering mobile applications to. I'm not sure if I fully answered your question, Rúben, please let me know.
I feel quite happy with it. I think I'll move to the next one. Daniel Kuhlman also asks, is the Experience Builder built with OutSystems?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And more questions.
There are some questions regarding the flows. If those flows will be available in August, or also the possibility, and this is, I believe, it's an extension from a question from me. Is it going to be possible for us to customize our own flows and be able to automate some of the routines that we believe that are important on our factories?
We are currently discussing that possibility. So it's not on the roadmap yet, but it's something that we are putting on top of the table.
And the current flows will be available soon, as soon as the go live date
yes.
in August. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
There is also a question about if the app could be shown live, but I think the video covers very well that point. So I was anticipating some of it. How easy is to customize the flows and the underlying data model? João, I think this is a good one for you.
This is exactly the question that I just made. Hélio, how we will be able to create our own flows and do our own customizations afterwards.
But even so, maybe I can add something there. We are running an early access program since February, and we have some early adopters that have been working with these flows that you've just seen today. The feedback that we are receiving is that it is fairly easy to customize those flows, so to extend them into real live applications. Of course, you need to understand there is a learning gap, right, between what you see on Experience Builder and what has actually been created. But after that initial friction, we have been receiving reports that it's fairly easy.
Thank you. And about Daniel Kuhlman asks regarding Cordova plugins, will PWAs also be supported as templates? Not sure if we can actually address that one in this meeting, or in this meetup, but maybe would you like to have the next one, the next meetup around the PWAs? No? Well, we'll see. More questions.
Rúben, I think you jumped one.
Yes.
Here from Daniel Kuhlman, asking, after the code is generated, can you still use Experience Builder to change the application, or you then can only do it in Service Studio? I'm writing it because it's a very common question also. So you use Experience Builder to create the first version of your application and your modules. You can then go into Service Studio and extend it. You can go back to Experience Builder and you can add and remove flows. When you publish it, it's going to create a new version of those modules. So you're not going to see changes in Experience Builder done in Service Studio. And if you do something else in Experience Builder, it's going to create a new version without your changes. Of course, if you have the newer version and the older, you can always do merge, but it's always a manual process.
The merge is outside of the tool. It's the merge of Service Studio.
Yes, exactly. It's the Service Studio.
Exactly.
It's the same pattern as we see with the Workflow Builder, where you can make it and then change it in Service Studio. But yeah, it's a one-way direction.
You can always create a side application with more or less the same features, and then since you're in the same factory, you can copy paste the modules to and the actions to the one, like a merging possibility, but of course by hand.
But this also has to do with the type of flow that was thought for the tool, right? Which is the citizen developer or the less technical user is able to change the app up until the point where you have a first version or a prototype, and then it can be, well, evolved further with by the development team, right?
So yeah, we are open to Pandora box.
Pandora box.
Of the citizen development chip.
Another one. I'm developing using on-premises. How can I use the Experience Builder, and can the Experience Builder create web apps? Well, the web apps was already answered. About the on-premises, I think as soon as it's released, it doesn't matter if it's on-premises or not. But Hélio.
It actually it somewhat matters. If your environment is completely closed to the world, to the internet, then you cannot use Experience Builder. Okay? We always need an open connection with your environment. Okay? We have customers that are on premises and it's working fine, but they are not like under VPN or completely cut out from the internet.
Does it work like architecture dashboard with the probes?
No probes.
No probes.
No probes at all.
Okay, it's just access.
Yes.
And are these all flow templates that XB was presented, or those will have? No.
Yeah. everything that you saw, those application types, mobile insurance product, everything that you saw, it's already developed and it's already released on under our early access program. So you can count on those for August and more. We are already developing more and they will be available before GA.
And another one from Marius asking, is the experience builder meant to be used just as a starting point for a project, or it should be used for a full life cycle?
Right now, you can't use it for a full life cycle, right? Because there is no way to add it like we answered before. So it's going to typically be used as the starting point for your project. You can, if you want middle of a project, if you want another flow, you can publish a second app with that flow and then copy paste it manually into your project, but it's going to be mainly used as the starting point.
And the main reason is also, well, from my understanding, to boost the beginning and also the less experienced developers to actually have something to work on, right? I think that is also part of the concept, enabling the less experienced developers to have something to start upon.
That's a very good angle, and you just remind me of saying another one. It's also typically used in meetings with stakeholders. If you have a stakeholder, a customer that wants to create a mobile banking or a customer insurance, you can just sit with them, show them the flows and ask, is this what you want? Is this okay? Does this cover your needs? Or is this what you were expecting to see? So even that part on requirements gathering, it helps you on that. And if you have the luck that the customer says, this is exactly what you need, well, you have a full application, not full, sorry, a lot of your full application already developed.
It's a good accelerator.
Yeah.
Daniel also asks about the roadmap. I think he's being specific for the roadmap of the experience builder. I'm not sure if Silvia can share already something about it.
Yeah, basically these teams, any team at extended product engineering area, it's a high-paced, fast experimentation team. And that means we're discovering new things literally every day. And that means that the roadmap is not a very longly established, okay? So we do not have a roadmap up until next year. It is really not that kind of stage that this product is at right now. Hélio, would you like to complement what I said in any way?
Just adding what you shown that your slide deck, right? Our next milestone is the patient healthcare, and that's going to be released before GA as part of the roadmap. Anything after that is still under discussion, so we don't have a straight answer for you guys right now.
I mean, also shows that the market changes very quickly, right? And having a prediction nowadays is quite complicated. The technology is moving so rapidly that having a roadmap doesn't fit with the vision of nowadays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about the new use cases, also the extend the tool with more capability, more possibilities among the coming back and start something and reiterate to something that was started before without with less pain for the developer, for the person that is doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a question here as well. If the experience builder creates a PWA, or what is the technical basis? And the question is regarding iPhone apps.
It does create PWA. So it's not, right now it's not creating it automatically, but any creation generated by Experience Builder, then on Service Studio, you can go and create the PWA version of it, and it will work normally.
So actually, OutSystems is merging new technology in the front line. And I think there is one, well, regarding on-premises or cloud, but that is answered. Since I hope I'm not jumping any question. Otherwise, please let me know. But since the experience builder is targeting mobile only, is there any similar alternative for web apps?
Not that I'm aware, aside from the normal assets that you guys already know, right? And we have not made a decision if Experience Builder is going to be for web applications also.
The transformation for Web React, that will not hurt that much, right? To Web Traditional, indeed, but to Web React, it's kind of straightforward.
Yes, but yes, but sometimes it's not only a matter of technical feasibility, right? It's also a matter of the group of possibilities that you will open up. Mobile applications, they are a little more constrained on the type of things that you can do. So it's also a lot easier for us to create templates or even create alternatives to those templates, because you don't have that much freedom, at least in certain things, right? Web is a little different. You have a lot more freedom. It's a lot harder to templatize types of applications over there.
I have much more space.
Yeah, much more space, exactly. But that's our main thing that's like bumping our head, is that go there.
I can imagine. Yes.
For example, I don't see any other new questions at the chat. Maybe I'll bring one. Like, how can the community also contribute? Because we have a lot of new people here. How can the community contribute to actually generate these ideas and to help OutSystems in, or trying to suggest to OutSystems new trends and new technologies? João, I think you can take this one as an MVP.
Thank you, Rúben. To be honest, I think that the community is, as Silvia already said in the past, it's fueling the and driving the reason why OutSystems is doing what it's doing right now. So everyone that is willing to contribute can throughout the different programs that we've been having, that OutSystems has been having and exposing throughout the last years. So definitely, community is something that to take very seriously, and is being taken very seriously to help move forward the goals of OutSystems.
Yeah, and for example, for those that might not have come across the how to go to the community, the specific area for ideas where you can drop your own ideas. Your ideas will be voted by your peers and by the other community members. And if it's actually something that makes sense for the product and will actually bring value to the developers and to the platform, it will be picked up by OutSystems. So I think it's for those who have some ideas and then want to encourage some brainstorm at the community. I mean, please feel free and make use of it. And development in mobile, sometimes we have some UI issues different between Android and iOS. Differences are being considered. So basically the question is about when we are building mobile applications, sometimes we have differences between iOS and Android, how to handle one and how to handle another one. And there is a concrete example about the open of the keyboard and push the screen to the end. Is this taken care or being considered as well, these differences during the experience builder?
I don't remember. This specific example, I really don't remember. Sorry. I have to try it out and test it.
Yeah, I did this question because I have several issues and difference between develop iOS and Android. One of is this ones. Another one is faulting buttons. So in Android works perfectly, in iOS does not work. So when we are doing this experience builder, when generate the app, if you are taking into consideration all the different between the two operating systems? Is more or less the question.
In general, yes, that's what we aim for, and we always test all our not APKs, our builds in both devices, in several devices actually, for Android and for iOS. Now I'm trying to remember on any specific things, but I can't right now. Hey, but you can do us a favor, send us those typical issues and we'll test them out and I'll answer you properly afterwards.
Will be a long email.
Go for it. Go for it. Everything that helps us get better.
Okay. I'll send an email.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Questions for João? He has been here and we need to make him talk.
Thank you, Rúben.
No, in a serious note, any other questions? I mean, make use that João is also here. He has been OutSystems developer for, you are one of the dinosaurs, right? Together with Remco, I also see Remco in the list of attendees. You are here for quite some time. Make use if you have questions for him.
The targeting in Germany and my experience in the past year, 2 years, the awareness of OutSystems and the awareness of low code is not that present. And I was very happy to see, I don't know, we still don't know fairly how many German people are actually on this meetup. But I remember a year ago trying to come up with a type of meetups together, and sometimes I wouldn't have that many people that I have today. So I'm very happy to see that the community is growing also in this country, and hopefully OutSystems will be able to help all the companies that want to engage with low code. Really happy to see.
Indeed, that brings me the question of what should be in for the attendees at the moment. What should be the next topic of the next meetup? If you want, you can unmute yourself and just say what you think and what will be interesting for you. No?
Well, you should choose the next one then, Rúben.
Oh, I'm a privileged in choosing topics.
Really, guys, this is for you. So we want to hear your opinions. Now is the time. If you want to ask anything, it doesn't need to be experience builder related. You have here 2 amazing people that can answer you. And just use your time.
Microservice architecture, orchestration, I see, or complex multi-cloud apps. I'm getting a few suggestions. You can put private messages on the chat, but anyone that would like to see microservice orchestration? Oh,
there's someone that would like to learn about BPM, it's BPT workflow stuff. So OutSystems, BPT, yeah. Exactly. The BPT, the business process technology. It's the OutSystems interpretation of BPM. It's not fully a BPM set, but allows us to work most of the use cases that we need with workflow. If you look from the experience level with it, this is a topic that is not on the associate roadmap when you try to go for the associate certification. It's something that appears already on the professional level. But I definitely urge you guys to see on the learning path on outsystems.com/learn. You have the possibility to go to see the masterclass on BPT. It's really good. We'll be able to learn a lot, and then I'll definitely advise you to take a deep dive on the documentation. Since a few months back, the documentation has been increasing. The quality on the documentation has been increasing very much. I personally revisit the complete documentation at least once a year. It's very interesting to have an idea of all the things that come up during this time, and you will be able to not only understand a little bit of the nitty-gritty details on the technology, but also to you'll be exposed to examples. And most of the time, it's when we don't understand that much what we're reading on the documentation. It's very good now that we start to see a lot of examples that can make us understand a little bit more. Yeah, and in the end, of course, if you have on the forge, there are also a lot of examples that you can do. You can also post questions on the forum that we will be able to help you with your use cases. Rúben, you were saying something? Sorry, interrupt you.
No, carry on.
No, it was just basically this. It's a nice possibility for you to learn BPT or anything that is related to the platform.
It's actually one of the topics that will be addressed on the Copenhagen meetup for OutSystems later this month. So given that it's all online, feel free to join everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nice. Thanks for that, Jasper. It's indeed one of the topics that will be addressed this month, and what we are trying to build together, it's a global community. So it's not per region or per country. I mean, you should definitely look into the other communities that OutSystems has, and if possible, attend them. Especially now that it's online, there is a huge opportunity to learn about so many other topics. And I see also Vera saying other popular topics are architecture dashboard and PWAs. So Vera will take this in consideration. That is a great idea, Daniel. Yeah, so Orla has finished. Orla is one of the community members. She finished recently her master degree, and she has, I think, 1 or 2 articles about code smells. Maybe it will be interesting to invite Orla for one of the sessions as well, because it's about performance and about quality of the code.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah.
Do you want to briefly share what is your article about and where people can find it?
It's on Medium, itnext.io. It's a platform for IT topics, and there's also an OutSystems section on there. So there's a lot of articles about OutSystems from a lot of people with a lot of experience on OutSystems. And I recently wrote 2 articles. Yeah, that's Vera posted the first article of mine in the chat, and the second one I just published yesterday. It's also on code smells, and code smells are just another way of finding problems in your code. So that's it.
Thanks, Orla. And
Tiago was saying that maybe workflow builder can be also a topic for the next session. It has been driving throughout the different user groups, and that reminded me a question that I had, and I actually forgot to Hélio. How does this connects the experience builder connects with workflow builder and the other one, the framework, the
integration builder?
Case management framework.
The case management. Thank you very much. The case management framework.
It doesn't.
Until when?
Easy answer.
Until when?
Just a plain answer.
It's a nice opportunity. We have to post an idea on the community.
Use of the idea section. Well, I don't see any more questions. So once again, I want to thank Silvia and Hélio for their availability and openness in sharing their insights with us. Also, thanks everyone for joining. As Katerina already mentioned,
remember the feedback survey I told you?
Yes, Katerina, go ahead.
Sorry, guys, really quick. So if you could please fill out the feedback survey, it's really important for us. Just tell us what you thought of the meetup, how we can improve, what was good, what was bad, and what you like to hear about on the next one. And well, that's it. Just scan the QR code. Rúben, you're up.
Yeah, thanks. So indeed, scan the QR code. Let us know what was good, what wasn't good. And well, we are here to improve for the community. So as our slogan keeps saying, it's from the community and by the community. So please let us know. Thanks also, João, for joining. Once again to Silvia and Hélio. Really nice and cool stuff that is coming up. And the recording will be posted on the meetup. So if you know about someone that didn't manage to attend, please feel free. Yeah, and I think that's it for now. Thanks once again to everyone and looking forward to the next one.
Also, thank you, Rúben and João.
You're welcome.
For hosting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.